Hi, Norman.
Hi, David. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I was just talking with Chad. He wasn't able to get his off of, or he wasn't able to get his live, so he'll be joining us pretty soon.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of have the hang of it here.
Yeah. I don't know what do you know what makes it go off air or not go live?
Well, you have to click Start Broadcast.
Okay.
I saw Linda was in the chat room there too.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
There's
Yeah.
Chad.
Hey,
Okay. So you saw Linda in the chat. I haven't seen anything from Jordy yet.
I'll send another invite to Linda because I think that may be the easiest way to get in. Is
Yeah, because I saw one where it just said that you're. I think it was like an invite to a video call, so that was good.
yeah. Well, it's starting to snow here tonight.
oh,
Oh,
We got
where
a
are you
new
at again,
rain.
Norman?
What's that?
What area do you live in again?
In the mountains of Southern California.
Okay.
We're about 6,000 feet.
Oh,
We got an inch of rain last night, so but it wasn't cold enough.
we're getting close. Getting close
Yep.
to cold enough.
Is my video screen like really wide at the bottom? Because mine's wide and you guys are like square.
Yeah, yours seems to be more of a rectangle.
Yeah, I was just wondering how that happened.
I don't
Just
know.
curiosity. Maybe
I
it's
think
my camera.
maybe. Although Chad seems kind of like yours too.
yeah, mine looks like rectangular.
Maybe it's just you see yours as wide and the other everybody else is square at the bottom.
That seems to be more like it.
I'm going to switch over to this other thing, see if Linda. Oh, there's Linda.
There's Linda, yeah.
She has her fancy picture up. There she is.
And Google effects. Oh.
What's that, Chad? It says you did it.
Does it let you applaud and stuff like that?
It put like a crown on his head. Did you see that?
Oh no, I missed that. It said Google effects, but that's all I saw.
Do it again, Chad. Do it again. Yeah, there's his crown. Okay, there you go. You got it now. Okay, King Chad.
Can you guys hear me?
We
Yes.
can hear you.
Awesome. My computer is being very slow and it gets stuck. So I hope I don't get frozen in the middle.
Chad's our Halloween guest tonight.
I know. I noticed.
Oh, the
How
mustache
are
is
you
good,
doing
yeah.
that?
I don't know. It said Google effects. How did you do it, Chad? Question mark.
You know the teacher does look at this sometimes, Chad.
So is there anything from Jordy? I don't think I received any emails or anything.
Mm-mm. I didn't either.
I'll invite him one more time. That'll send something, I think.
Okay.
I think last week Jordy did the quiz. So
I can do it this week if you want.
okay, sure.
Have it
Thanks,
gone full
Jordy.
round already?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I think I've only done it once, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think last week was Jordy's second time.
We gotta get Chad to stop playing there. Let's see this. There we go. It's gonna get blown away by the jet stream.
It's like good weather where he's at. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and start. Let's see, number one. Other things constant, if domestic consumers purchase fewer foreign goods at each level of GDP in the short run, I have GDP will rise.
That's what I
had
put.
to.
Yeah.
Increase the net exports. Man, I almost clicked submit instead of
Whoops.
That would have been bad.
Usually
At least it would tell us all the right answers.
Well, that's true. Quick meeting.
I'll get 5% on it. That one's right.
So number two, in the aggregate expenditures model of the economy, a downward shift in aggregate expenditures can be caused by, I think it's A, a decrease in government spending or an increase in taxes.
That one was a little confusing for me, honestly.
That's what I had, but I wasn't 100% on that one.
I didn't find it anywhere, but I was figuring if it was a downward shift, it probably had to have to do with an increase in taxes, and A was the only one that had an increase in taxes.
The aggregate expenditures model.
Because if there's taxes, then they have less money to buy things, so that's why I put that.
See, in my head, the question itself is confusing to me. Like, does that mean that they're spending less, or because if they're spending less, then it could be a decrease in interest or a decrease in taxes because they're not paying that extra interest or the extra taxes. But maybe I'm reading the question wrong. I don't know.
Because I think taxes, even when they have taxes paid, it's in like a fraction of the, what was it, fraction of income or something like that, MPC times T for taxes. I saw that's somewhere in the reading. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure either.
Yeah, I'm okay with A. Seems right to me.
Okay.
I'm okay risking that one.
I'm willing to go with what you say because I did not understand the question, I think. Let's see. A tax cut will have a greater effect on equilibrium GDP if the tax cut will have a greater effect. See, this question is confusing too. What do you guys think on that one?
Well, a tax cut is going to put more money in people's pocket.
Right.
So
Marginal propensity to consume is, wait. No, then it should be average propensity to consume is larger then?
I thought it was marginal propensity to save is smaller because the marginal propensity to consume is larger. That's how I read it. But and then that would be B. But I couldn't find it anywhere. I was kind of guessing because I expected something just to talk about marginal propensity to consume being larger.
right.
Marginal makes more sense to me.
Yeah, I originally had C, but I think I have it backwards. So if they have more disposable income, if they're more likely to save, then they'll save more and spend less. So if the marginal propensity to save is smaller, then that means they'll spend more.
Spend it.
Which will have a great effect.
I'm okay with that.
Yes.
So B is in boy on that one?
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4, refer to the above graph. If this economy was an open economy without a government sector, the level of GDP would be, I have C, because you've got C, consumption, plus I, investment, plus net exports. That puts us at 300 billion.
That's what I
I
had
agree
because
with
it
that.
doesn't have government. I almost thought it was 400 until I read it a couple times.
If it was a closed economy, then it would just be C and I, 200.
Right.
It's open, so that includes exports,
Right.
net export.
Yeah, that seems right. Five, leakages from the income expenditure stream are saving, taxes, and imports. C.
That's what I had.
Yep. No, come on. Sorry, my computer's stuck. Whoa. Okay. The most basic premise of the aggregate expenditures model is that well, I had the total output produced in the economy depends directly on the level of total spending.
That's what I had.
Okay.
Because it's the consumption, right?
Yeah.
So that's A?
That's what I have, unless you have a different
that's what I have.
perspective. Okay.
No, that's... Your turn, Chad. Are you with us, Chad?
Chad, can you hear us?
I think he's frozen too.
Yeah, I don't see him moving.
He's dead. No, no. Oh, there he
I
is.
see him moving. Yes. We thought your screen froze.
I thought your screen froze.
Oh, how weird.
He was seeing how long he could stay still.
So we're on 7?
We're on 7 now? Okay. And that was, the answer for 6 was A?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. One basic assumption of the aggregate expenditures model is that A. Maybe.
I thought it was D. The average price level in the economy is fixed.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking was D.
Okay. That was a total guess.
Okay, number 8. I didn't get this one, so because I totally am foggy on how to calculate this. But if the MPC in an economy is 0.75 and the aggregate expenditures increase by 5 billion, then equilibrium GDP will increase by. So I just don't know the right formula because you have to figure out the multiplier, right?
Right. I think it's the 1 over MPS, which puts it at 0.25, which makes the multiplier 4. And then it's 4 times the 5 billion. So the answer 20 billion D.
Okay, give me that form. Okay, so the multiplier is 1 over MPS, but okay, so MPS is the opposite of MPC, so it's 1 divided by 0.25 is 4.
Right. And then that's multiplied by the increase.
4 times 5 billion. I'm just writing this down so I can remember how to do it another time. Okay, so 4 times increase equals the eGDP increase. Okay, so that's the aggregate expenditures increase.
Yeah, that's the equilibrium GDP increase.
Which is 20. 4
Yes.
times 5. Okay, good. Glad somebody knew how to do that.
All right. Now, honestly, I haven't looked at the chapter, but I've noticed with the quizzes and exams that out of the 4 options, one of them's way wrong, and the other 3 are more closer together to the correct answer. And Jordy's here.
Hey guys.
Hey, Jordy.
With the 20 being significantly larger than the 3 other options. Is that correct? I have no idea.
Yeah, I would say that that's the case in maybe 3 out of 5 times, but I think there's 1 or 2 times when it's something that's not one of the ones that are real similar.
Okay.
What number are you guys on? Sorry.
We're on 8. Do you want me to catch you up from 1?
Yes, if you could.
Okay, we did A as in apple
Okay.
for 1.
Cool.
A as in apple for 2.
All right.
B as in boy for 3. C as in Charlie or 4.
Which one, I'm sorry?
Number 4
Uh-huh.
is C as in Charlie.
Okay.
Number 5 is also C as in Charlie. Number 6 is A as in apple.
All right.
Number 7 was D as in dog. And number 8 was D as in dog.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, so we're on number 9.
Number 9. See, the investment schedule shows the let's see, is it the positive relationship between the expected rate of return and the quantity of invested demanded?
I think that's the investment demand curve, isn't it?
Yeah. The investment schedule shows the different dollar amounts of investment at different levels of GDP. So I put C.
That's what I have.
Yeah.
So then what I said is the demand curve.
Yeah, I believe so. The investment demand curve.
Okay.
Well, the investment demand curve is interest rate, not really the rate of return. So I think that's just a...
It's kind of wrong all the way.
Yeah, it's just kind of... They threw that in.
Are we on number 10 now?
Yes.
The difference between the investment demand curve and the investment schedule is that the former shows to be an inverse relationship between investment and interest rate, while the latter shows no correlation between investment and income.
I mean, I was guessing, but I had C, a direct relationship between investment and income, while the latter shows no correlation between investment and interest rate.
See, I kind of got messed up between inverse and direct. I thought direct was if one goes up, the other one goes up, and I thought if inverse was if one goes down, the other one goes up.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So with the demand curve, if the interest rate goes down, then the dollars invested go up.
Oh.
So that's why I put B.
That's where I got it mixed up. Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure I'm correct in defining inverse versus direct.
I think you are.
Okay.
That sounds right, and I think it's B as well.
Okay.
But sometimes I'm wrong.
Yeah, let's go with B. I usually get those mixed up.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, come on.
$11.
11.
If the expected rate of return on investment decreases, then most likely the investment schedule will shift downward. So B?
I think
That's what I had.
Yeah.
Me too. Let's see. 12, in a private closed economy, the equilibrium condition for the economy is A, where the aggregate expenditures equals the C plus IG equals GDP.
That's what I have.
yes, sir.
You said D as in dog, right?
A is an apple on 12.
Sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think I got this one wrong like 5 times on Learn Smart, so I still don't know if I got the. When aggregate expenditure is greater than GDP, then there will be an, and I put B, unplanned decrease in inventories, and GDP will increase.
I put A, unplanned increase in inventories and GDP will increase.
But if they're buying more than is being produced, then what are they buying? They're buying the inventory. And so
Right.
that's going to cause the inventory to go down. But like I said, it seemed like in Learn Smart I would do the logical thing and it would be the opposite. So
Opposite, yes. I actually agree with you, Norman.
So, how come GDP will?
GDP will increase because as people buy more, well, I don't know.
See, in the reading, I think it was on, I don't know which section, but it ended up saying page 246. I think it said, I'd have to look at it again, but I thought it said it would expand production and the GDP would rise when the expenditure is greater than GDP. Let me go check that again.
Well, okay, so GDP would rise, right, and
Well,
they'll
I
expand
guess.
production to replace the inventory that's being bought. So,
Yeah,
okay.
that makes sense, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and it makes sense that the GDP would increase because there's a greater demand. Okay, I'm good with B.
Right. So
Okay, let's go with B.
yeah.
And you said B as in boy? All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Getting some lag. It's quite hard.
Anyone? Anyone?
My computer's frozen.
Oh,
So 14, the amount by which an aggregate expenditure schedule must shift upward to achieve the full employment GDP is B, the recessionary expenditure gap.
What?
that's what I have.
Okay. I think this just logged me out.
Logged you out of what?
Problem loading page, unable to authenticate this page or whatever. Oh my gosh, are you serious? I hope it didn't turn it in for me. We can go on, I guess.
We can wait.
Okay.
Or just write them down just in case you have to resubmit it later or something.
You guys can continue. I'm gonna try to log back in.
Okay. One time on the, like, check your work, you know how it opens up a little pop-up window? It opened up a little pop-up window, but nothing ever came up. So I closed it and did it again, and it counted it as one of my check your work times.
Oops.
Oh man.
So, all right, who wants to do 15?
Okay, I'll do it. The amounts by which aggregate expenditures exceed those associated with full employment level of domestic outputs can best be described as well, I think it's C, the multiplier. I don't know.
I think it's B. It's just the opposite of the last question. So if you have full employment as this line right here, if you're below the line, it's the gap in between here is recessionary, and if you're above the full employment GDP, then the gap in between here is the inflationary gap. So those are your two gaps: recessionary below, inflationary above.
And when it exceeds, you have to bring it down, right? By or it's going to go into, what do they say, some type of demand pull or something like that.
Well, either one.
Yeah,
If
demand
you're
pull.
above it, it wants to go down towards it. If you're below it, you to get full efficiency in the economy, you need to go towards it. So you really have to try to have the aggregate expenditures equal to the full employment level of GDP. That's the best economy.
Okay.
Guys, what was number 14? It didn't save the answer.
B, recessionary expenditure gap.
Okay. And 15 was?
B, an inflationary expenditure gap.
Okay.
Right, we're on 16.
The 787 billion stimulus package enacted by the federal government in 2009 to try to deal with the Great Recession was intended to push the aggregate expenditure schedule upward?
That's what I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
When the economy is at its equilibrium GDP level, all the following will occur except B.
Yeah, that's what I had. I don't think
Yeah.
inventories would be zero.
You don't think inventories would be zero?
Well, if it's, I think inventories couldn't be zero.
No.
I mean, they would have to equal, or I think that they couldn't have any. There was something where it's talked about the planned and unplanned should equal zero or something like that, but not the inventory itself.
So you think there's D,
think
there are
that-
no unplanned changes in inventories?
No, I think the answer is B.
I know at equilibrium there are zero dollars in unplanned changes in inventory.
Well, yeah, this is saying all of the following will occur except.
Okay, I'm looking at my little chart here, equilibrium GDP. So aggregate expenditures equal GDP, that's correct, at equilibrium. Savings equals planned investment, that's correct. There are no unplanned changes in inventories, that's correct because that's 0. So it has to be B, inventories.
Okay.
So it's B then.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I will do, we're on 18, right?
Yes.
If GDP exceeds aggregate expenditures in a private closed economy, planned investments will exceed saving. B.
I thought it was the other way
A.
around. Yeah, saving exceeds planned investment.
Yeah, let me go back to my chart here.
Because these things confuse me. I always get them back.
Because the private closed economy is the consumption plus the gross investment. And it's also savings equals, I think, the gross investment, right? So if it exceeded it, then the savings wouldn't be equal to the investment.
Right. Well, also, if you're producing more than people are spending, then that means, and if GDP equals income, then
On my chart,
they're saving.
On my chart, they have investment as a constant number at all levels of GDP. They have it like at 20 billion, and it stays 20 billion all the way across, all the way down. So if GDP,
I think that's because GDP equals investment. No?
no, GDP investment is only a portion of GDP. So if GDP exceeds the aggregate expenditures, so I'm looking here, GDP, if GDP is 450, but aggregate expenditures are 455, then investment is 20 and savings is 15. That's if GDP exceeds aggregate expenditures. So anytime that the GDP is higher than the aggregate expenditures, then the savings is always higher than the investment. Yeah, so that it would be A. Saving will exceed planned investment.
Okay.
Okay.
If it's lower, then savings will be less than planned investment.
The planned investment is always constant.
Yeah.
So that would wipe out B and C just because they say that they exceed something.
Right.
Yeah.
19. Classical economists held the view that in the economy, go ahead, 19, I put A, demand creates its own supply. So it's a pull.
I thought it was supply that created its own demand.
No, you can supply tons of stuff, but if nobody wants it, then it'll just sit on the shelf or rot.
There. But if there's a demand for it, then people will supply it, right?
Right. If you build it, well, that's supply.
Well, isn't that what it's saying? Demand creates its supply? It's not saying supply creates demand.
Right, so that's why I think it's A.
It's what?
I think the answer is A. Do you guys, somebody have a different answer?
Well, I had B. I had unemployment as temporary and as soon as eliminated. Let's see if I can.
Let's see.
Try to get out of that. Because when they were starting to talk about Keynesian theory or whatever, he was going against the classical economists. And he started to do that when the Depression happened, when they had high unemployment. Let's see, it's not going. I'm trying to get to the spot. Let's go back.
So you think it's B, Dave?
I think it's B, but
Okay, here's the PowerPoint. Classical economics, Say's law. Economy will automatically adjust, and laissez-faire. Keynesian economics, cyclical unemployment can occur. Economy will not correct itself. Government should actively manage macroeconomic stability.
Okay.
Okay, I think this answers it. Until the Great Depression of the 30s, most economists, going back to Adam Smith, had believed that a market system would ensure full employment if the economy's resources, except for temporary short-term, would ensure full employment of the economy's resources except for temporary short-term upheavals. If there were deviations, they would be self-correcting. A slump in output and employment would reduce prices, which would increase consumer spending. It would lower wages, which would increase employment again. It would lower interest rates, which would expand investment spending. Say's law, attributed to the French economist J.B. Say, summarized the view in a few words. Supply creates its own demand.
Well, it says here,
That's the wrong one there.
in contrast to the more laissez-faire view of the classical economists, what's his name argued that government should play an active role in stabilizing the economy. Yeah, what you just read, basically.
So based on what we just read, I would say the best answer is B. Unemployment is temporary and soon eliminated.
yeah, that's what I read. Because I first went with A, but then when I was reading it, it seemed like it was reversed. That it's supply that creates the demand, not demand creating the supply.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm good with B.
Number 20. I'll do number 20. The major economic issue during the Great Depression of the 1930s that concerned John Maynard Keynes was, or Keynes, is it Keynes? Keynes?
Keynes.
I'm reading it like. Oh. Keynes was C, unemployment.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Oh, 100%.
No way.
Locked out, Norman.
It helps to talk them out, I think.
That's
Do you
true.
talk them out to yourself when you're doing it the first time?
Yeah, but I don't always get them right. The one with the calculation, right? Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So
Good job,
you
guys.
guys good?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. You guys
Thank
all
you.
have a good
Okay.
night.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
evening.
See you
I'll
later.
submit it.